G'day groovers, rockers and in between. This is Vinyl Vibes. I'm your host, Jack Hodgins. Today, we are talking with founding member of Sid Rumpo, John Hood. Since 1964, John has been fascinated by the blues, which was first sparked after hearing the Rolling Stones for the first time. Sid Rumpo was formed in late 1971 and soon became popular in Perth over the next year. After performing at the 1973 Sunbury Pop Festival, John would leave the group in August 1973, 8 months before the band recorded their first and only album, First Offence, in 1974. John has remained in music since then, and more recently has released over a dozen solo albums and published a book on his time in music. G'day John, and welcome to Vinyl Vibes.
Thanks, Jack.
I just wanted to start off in the beginning, John. I've read you were born in 1949 in Sydney, Australia, spending your first 8 years in Sydney. What can you tell me about those early years in Sydney?
Well, I moved around quite a lot. I really got interested in music when the Rolling Stones came out. I was never a big fan of the Beatles. I just liked the Stones, and I learnt from their record covers what artists they were following. So I started buying blues records in the mid-60s and took it from there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned that quite a bit in your book, and I mean, do you remember hearing the Rolling Stones for the first time? Like, does that memory stay with you?
No, I don't remember the first song, but I remember the first bulk of material. It was around the time of the first album, which my uncle, who was 3 months older than me, he bought it and lent it to me. And I had a few EPs as well. I liked Mona. I love the Little Red Rooster. I Can't Be Satisfied. Yeah, I just really liked them. But after a while, I realised that they weren't as good as the originals. So I started pursuing Jimmy Reed, Tony Williamson, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, which were more traditional blues.
I've read you got your first guitar at 15, which would be around 60, 64, kind of that era. I mean, yeah, your mum bought it, and I heard in another interview that you said it was the guitar was pretty crap at the time, to use your words. I mean, yeah, do you remember much about that first guitar at all? Yeah.
Oh, a little bit. The problem was I couldn't play it because I never had any lessons. When I went to uni in 1967, I spent the whole year learning to play rhythm guitar and blues harmonica, and that was my introduction to playing in a band. I learned enough to be able to play in a band. I wasn't a great guitar player then. That was 68, 69. At the end of 1970, I started playing lead guitar, but it wasn't really till I spent some time in Melbourne and came back with 2 records, Freddie King and Otis Rush, and spending a year with them, that I really think I mastered the style of blues guitar. Because you can't just make it up. You've got to have some technical background to be able to play good blues.
Taking it back to 65 here, I mean, I've also read that you saw the Stones at the Capitol Theatre in Perth, February 13th, 1965, I think it was. I mean, what do you remember of that concert? Yeah.
Girls screaming. You can hardly hear the music. Stones only played for about half an hour. They played... I used to have the set list written down, but it's available on the internet anyway. They did 3 concerts in Perth. They started with Route 66 and they played a Bo Diddley tune, That's All Right, which was the only new song that I hadn't already heard.
Did they play Little Red Rooster on that set list as well?
They played it on the tour, but they didn't play it in Perth.
Oh.
Which was a shame because that song really threw me. When I heard that bluesiness, I totally flipped out.
To quote you here in your book, you say it floored you. I mean, yeah, I mean, what was it about that song that captured you so much?
Well, it was the sound of raw blues just really went to my heart. Like the slide and the feel of, I mean, the drumming was terrific from Charlie Watts. It's just a very different song. I'd never heard music like that before.
1967, you're starting to learn to play the guitar and harmonica, and I read in your book you learned to improvise the harmonica to acoustic blues albums, like David Van Rock's Gambler's Blues, for example. I mean, take me through, those moments in your musical journey.
Well, I had Tony Glover's harmonica book, which was a great read, but it wasn't a very good introduction to playing the harmonica. Have you heard of that book?
I haven't, no.
Tony Glover was a country blues harmonica player. And in lots of ways, in 1967, I would have been happy to be a country blues harmonica player because that's what I really like. But as it turned out, I ended up becoming a guitar player and playing Chicago blues. But I still kept up my harmonica playing because you never forget how to play, and it was just fun.
I think it's July 1967. Steve Tallis invites you on stage to play harmonica with his band, My Grandfather's Blues. And that's how you kind of came to join the band. I mean, take me through that moment, yeah.
Well, that was 1968.
Oh, okay, right, okay, yep.
A friend of mine knew Steve Tallis and he introduced me, and I don't know the circumstances, but they asked me to come and jam at a disco. So I went down with my harmonicas, and when I played, they said, "Do you want to join the band?" So I did, and I played. I used to get up on and off the stage when there was a harmonica tune, but not long after I joined, the rhythm guitar player got called up, so I started playing rhythm guitar, which was much better because that means I could stay on the stage and play my guitar and then play harmonica in the songs that required it.
1968, you guys are called the Jellyroll Bakers by this point. The Jellyroll Bakers, I think, came to an end around September 1969, and I think this is off your website. You say like it was as a result of the purists versus the non-purists. I mean...
Yeah, the guitar player was a fabulous guitar player. His name was Peter Walker, and he went on to join the Bakery and became a legendary Australian rock guitar player. But he was overplaying for the blues. He was playing too loud, too frantic, and didn't have a real blues feeling, which was okay. It was a fun band. It was more a blues rock band. Like we used to play a few Jimi Hendrix tunes, but basically we were playing 12-bar.
Moving on to the 1970 now, I mean, I've read in your book that you fled WA for Victoria, I think it was, because of you got drafted to serve in Vietnam. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, to live in Melbourne was terrifying.
Yeah.
I was working in a record shop called Discurio, and one day, coming back from lunch, there was an MP van parked in the street, and I really flipped out because I thought they might have been on the me, but thank goodness they weren't. When I came back to Perth, I got a lawyer and went to court as a conscience objector, and that lawyer was Peter Dowding, who went on to become Premier of Western Australia.
When you won the case and all that, I think that was only a few days after 78 Records opened up. Am I right on that? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, we opened on the Thursday, and my case was on the Monday. Went from the court straight back to work.
I think you spent the majority of 1971 working in the store after you won the case, and November 1971, Sid Rumpo was formed, and because you were waiting during 1971 for the other guys to finish uni, am I right on that, to form Sid Rumpo?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, two guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was that like, having to wait so long to get the band together? Yeah.
Well, it was good for me because I came back from Melbourne on the conscription thing on New Year's Day 1971, and I had two records, a Freddie King record and an Otis Rush record. Now, while I was playing blues guitar, I wasn't very good, but spending a year with those two records totally turned me on to playing blues in the right way. So when Sid Rumpo started, I was a much stronger guitar player.
Yeah.
Like I had the chops down to play the sound that I wanted to play, which was authentic blues.
What were the early Sid Rumpo rehearsals like together? Like, I assume you guys rehearsed before you started playing, kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah, we rehearsed for about 6 weeks. We started by playing covers, blues and a few rock tunes. Like the rock tunes would be Frank Zappa's Hot Rat, some of the Allman Brothers stuff, and we're playing blues tunes as well. But within about 2 months, we were writing material. We mostly did original stuff after that, except keeping a few blues covers. But when we went to Melbourne, the blues covers sort of died off. We didn't learn any new blues songs. We just kept pumping out the originals. Well, the first thing was that 3 of us wrote songs, myself, Rob, and Ken Wallace, the piano player. And how it worked was, Ken and I would write arrangements for original songs, and then Rob would provide the words and the tune. So it wasn't sort of a collaboration. It was more that we'd come in with songs and he'd put the rest of it to it. Since I've left, I've written a lot of songs for different bands, and I've written a lot of instrumental music, hundreds of tunes of instrumental music.
Those early songs that you wrote, like, did songwriting come pretty easy to you back then?
Yeah, because I'm a good arranger. So if you get an idea, I can arrange it into a song.
Yeah.
I just seem to have the knack for it.
the name Sid Rumpo came from a friend of the band's called Laurie Scanlon. I mean, what did you think of the name when Laurie kind of said, "Oh, you should call yourselves Sid Rumpo"?
Well, I already knew the name because it didn't come from Laurie.
Okay.
So that's another story. It was a character in a BBC radio comedy called Around the Horn, a guy called Rambling Sid Rumpo. We didn't even get the spelling right. It's S-Y-D. But Laurie was an architecture student, and he enrolled Sid Rumpo in the architecture course. And all the students used to do assignments and hand them in as Sid Rumpo. So, and then when the exams came around, they stopped writing them. And the staff asked the students, "Has anybody seen Sid Rumpo?" And of course, he didn't exist. So that was, we couldn't think of a name. And Laurie was at us for months. So we eventually went to Sid Rumpo. We played at Laurie's wedding. It was our first gig.
I mean, do you remember much about that first gig? I was going to bring that up actually. Yeah, Laura's wedding. Yeah. What do you?
Well, it was in the open air. I don't remember. I've got a feeling of a few of the songs we may have played, but it's so long ago. Unless I've written it down, I haven't read my book, so I can't remember.
Did you find that it came together pretty quickly? Like like just the feeling of the band, like that it was like, did it feel good straight away? Like how the music was coming together with Sid Rumpo?
Yeah, it felt good, but there were a couple of issues. Noel Herridge, the drummer, Owen Hughes, the bass player, and myself all had band experience, whereas the piano player, Ken Wallace, and Rob Searles had very limited band experience. Noel, Owen, and I were able to be a strength and hold it together until the other guys came on board, which took a little bit longer because it was a new experience for them, having to learn all those songs, whereas we were really casual about it. To me, it was just like, easy.
I've read, you guys worked in Perth from February to October 72. I mean, and I've read you guys became pretty popular in Perth. I mean, what was that journey like, working in Perth during 1972, becoming popular? Like, take me through that part of the band.
Well, it was huge. We were the band that started getting work in hotels and private shows. The university used to really like us because 4 of us had been to UWA, and we just seemed to get a lot of private functions and high school dances and quite a lot of gigs. So we were the band that sort of opened up the rock scene for a lot of other bands because the drinking age had been changed by then, so there are a lot more pubs available. But we were the first band to start getting hired, and we were working pretty much every night of the week. Yeah. And the Perth scene grew just enormously. There were so many bands playing, it was just amazing. When you used to look in the local newspaper, there were 1 or 2 pages of ads, a band. Yeah. Whereas when you went to Melbourne and Sydney, what we found was there was a lot less work.
I mean, but of course, before you got to Melbourne, September 72, you guys won the state final of Hoadley's Battle of the Sounds. And, I mean, do you remember much about the performance for that contest?
Yeah, I remember it really well. You were meant to play for, I think it was, can't remember if it was 15 or 20 minutes. But we went over, we played a 15-minute song, which was a bit of sort of like an Allman Brothers kind of sound. Again, it was a song that I wrote that Rob put words and music to. But it was a really progressive rock song that went through lots of different styles of music. It started out as a rock song. It went into a piano solo in a different key. Then it went into a really slow guitar solo that built in intensity until it got so loud that it stopped. And we went back to the original rhythm. I remember the first time we played it at a hotel, and when we finished, you could hear a pin drop. It was just so powerful. It was the most complex song we'd ever attempted. It was called Wanderer's Isle. We did a gig at the Kublai Hotel just before we went to Melbourne. I've got a recording of it on that, but it's a pretty bad recording. But I can remember every note on it anyway, so I don't need to hear it again.
And you mentioned that was the song you opened with. I mean, what were the other songs that you played for the contest?
Well, we played 40 Days and 40 Nights, and I think we played a song written by Ken called Magic Lady. But, that was quite good. We won a trip to Sydney, but Sherbet were also on as well. So that was the end of us. Sherbet, 2,000 screaming fans.
Yeah.
But we had a good time. It was a good bonding experience.
Were there any songs from Sid Rumpo from that Perth era that never really got recorded either like on the album or on like one of the tapes, like cassette tapes? Yeah.
Oh, none of the songs from Perth got recorded. Possibly Don't Bug Me Boogie might have been written in Perth, and that made it to the album, but that's the only song that came from Perth that made it onto the album. See, I'd left 8 months before the album was recorded.
I think this is out of your book. You say that your harmonica playing peaked in Sid Rumpo, and that kind of got me thinking, like, what was it about your harp playing in Sid Rumpo that kind of makes you, that kind of gave you that thought that it was your peak kind of playing, yeah.
Well, I started out as a harmonica player, and I'd always really loved it, and I'm pretty sure I got pretty good at it, and I was able to express myself. And it was just so free because I listen to jazz where there's a lot of syncopation and weird phrasing, and I was able to incorporate that into my harmonica playing. My harmonica playing had a lot of feeling. There was a night we were playing in the Elks with Dutch children, and that was in 1977 or 78.
Mm-hmm.
And Dutch used to do tours with us. And what we did was we'd play a set, he'd play a set, and then we'd play a set with him. Well, the harmonica player said he wasn't going to do it. He didn't like that. So I said, well, can I use your gear and I'll do it? And it brought the house down. And I hadn't played harmonica for 3 years. It's just a real highlight.
That kind of gets me thinking, like, how different was the music scene in Melbourne to that of Perth at the time in 1972?
Totally different. There weren't as many pubs. The only pubs there were big beer barns. And I don't believe, oh yes, we played in a couple. We played the Matthew Flinders, but they always with 2 bands. In Perth, 1 band played for 4 hours, and that was a really good workout. In Melbourne, there just weren't many gigs, and there actually weren't that many bands. Like, obviously there were a few, but in Perth, there were stacks, dozens and dozens, all playing rock music.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's an interesting point because I've always thought of Melbourne and like being the big smoke for bands, being like back then, I mean, being probably that in Sydney. I mean, that's interesting. Like, so there wasn't very much going on musically in Melbourne at that time.
Well, you only know what you know about. I mean, if you lived in Melbourne, you'd probably think it did have a pretty good music scene. But we came from working every night to not working every night.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different vibe. You
guys got signed to the record company Mushroom pretty quickly. I mean, was that how did you get signed to Mushroom? Was that an easy kind of task to undertake? Yeah. Yeah, we got signed pretty early, but Michael Higinski kept saying, "Oh yeah, we'll record you one day," and I got sick of it. One of the reasons I left, I stayed in Melbourne for 10 months, but it wasn't going anywhere. We were sort of not doing very well, not working very much. We weren't recording. So I split back to Perth and went back into the record shop and started building that up. Because I listened to an interview with you and you said you didn't really remember much about Sunbury. I mean, do any memories pop up at all? Or because I know one thing was the power cut out while we were playing. Yeah, I mean, how was that playing Sunbury and getting the power cut? Yeah. Well, the power cut was no fun, but Bob was yelling at Noel to play drums, but without being mic'd up, you wouldn't have heard him anyway. Yeah. Anyway, they got the power together. It was during sailing, so we started again. And that was a song that got recorded on the 3 LP set. Sailing. Yeah. I mean, on the great Australian Rock Festival Sunbury 1973 album. Yeah, I mean, in saying that, like from Sid Rumpo's set of that Sunbury 1973 gig, I mean, was that your favourite off the set list from that gig, or like, do you think that there was a better song that could have been on the record, like the free LP set, or like, I think it was a fairly good choice because it featured the 2 guitar harmonies pretty well. Yeah, which is a feature of the band's sound. No one else was doing that with the 2 guitars, 2 lead guitars playing solo lines in harmony. I mean, the Allman Brothers are stars in it. And a few people have gotten on this show have talked about Sunbury. I mean, what was it like as someone that was there? I mean, what was it like? Like, I mean, like, because people have described it as Australia's Woodstock. I mean, would you put it in the same kind of realms as that? Well, I hate to be frivolous, but I was hardly there. Yeah. We played on the Saturday afternoon, and when we finished,
I listened to Matt Taylor, and then I went back to Rob's Sunbury farm that his parents owned with a lady friend, and we stayed there. I just didn't like Sunbury. It was all dirty, filthy people, boozed out of their minds.
Yeah.
I just didn't enjoy it. I liked playing, but I didn't like the festival.
And I mean, in saying that too, I mean, because Sunbury was January 73, and I think you departed Sid Rumpo August 73, and that kind of gets me thinking, like, what was that time in Sid Rumpo like from Sunbury to kind of like your departure in August 73? Yeah.
Well, early on, we got quite a few gigs, but they narrowed out, and we were getting a lot less. And we weren't going anywhere musically. We sort of reached an impasse because some of the guys wanted to be more rocking. I wanted to play like Little Feet, and I wanted to keep the blues and rock elements. And we just were struggling to write material. It didn't work the same way. It just didn't. It stopped, and we wasted a lot of time on material that just didn't make it out of the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
So the band lost its way.
I mean,
when they recorded the album, I think they only recorded 2 new songs.
Yeah, okay.
In the 8 months that I'd been gone. The first 2 on the album.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right back in Spotlight. The only song I played on that I remember that ended up on the album was Song with No Trees, and obviously Don't Bug Me Boogie.
Yeah, I mean, did you get to play on the actual recordings that went on the album, or did you just write the songs and all that? Yeah.
Well, I just helped. No, I didn't play on the album. I stayed in Perth. Yeah, they were the songs. Don't Bug Me Boogie, I can't say I wrote that. That was Ken. All he wrote was just the riff, just the introduction. Then there was just a 12-bar. One thing I will mention, on the GTK version, which is available on YouTube, the harmonica, the last harmonica chorus I played was the last harmonica chorus of Little Walter's Boom Boom. Really iconic lick for Walter. And played it with Rob playing on the guitar as well. He was harmonising the lines. It was more unison. Always got a kick out of that.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up Don't Bug Me Boogie, because I had to listen to the version you did with the band on GTK, and I listened to the version that the band eventually did on their 1974 First Offence album, and it doesn't feel the same without your harmonica, I don't think. I mean, that
was a great day for playing harmonica. I really gave it to it.
Yeah, and it just seems. I mean, I love the song, but it just seems so lost without your harmonica on the album version. I mean, yeah, how do you feel about that song without the harmonica? Yeah.
I've never thought about it. It's just different. I mean, I left, so they kept going. The harmonica took a diminishing role when we're in Melbourne in '73. We never learned any new harmonica songs. The Garrison tapes feature 40 Days and 40 Nights, the Muddy Waters tune. That's harmonica, but I just wasn't playing as much harmonica, which is a shame because I really used to love playing. Not all night. I like playing guitar, but it's just the harmonica is so freeing. It's a joy to play.
I mentioned GTK, and I was kind of thinking too. I mean, because I know a bit about Countdown and that kind of thing that came after, of course. I mean, was GTK, was that aired nationally, or was that just a Melbourne thing?
No, it was national. It was 6:20 every night on the ABC, or every weeknight. Oh, it's fabulous. I used to listen to it a lot. You heard just a lot of good. See, they had rock bands, which was the great thing. It wasn't, popular music. It was rock music. It was a great show.
I mean, when the First Offence album when the 1974 First Offence album came out for Sid Rumpo, I mean, did you buy it when it came out, or did you not really care? Like, what was your feelings about it? Yeah.
Well, I was working in the record shop, so I was there the day it came out. I didn't really like it because it wasn't my band anymore.
Yeah.
It was just different music. And I thought the acoustic guitar instrumental was just awful, Spider Curry. It turned out that it was Mick Elliott and one of his friends playing guitar. I think they were really struggling for material. I mean, it's okay, but I just don't listen to it. I don't like it.
Yeah,
it doesn't represent the band that I know.
I mean, would you say, John, that when you departed Sid Rumpo, that like the band kind of lost a major part of itself? Because it sounds like you were a pretty big like creative like part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that had wound down. Like I said, we stopped writing songs. And I think when I left, they got Mick Elliott. He was a lot heavier, a rock guitarist. So I was sort of the light touch, slightly jazz oriented. And he was the sort of Eric Clapton, give it all he got, Albert King. And I know Bob wanted to write more rock songs. That's where those first two songs came from. They were definitely more rock than anything we played when I was in the band.
More recently, you wrote your book for the love of music, the life and times of a West Australian bluesman, and I was kind of thinking, like, did you always set out to write a book? Like, how did that kind of come to be for you? Yeah.
Some guy got hold of me. He'd been looking for me for a few years, and I was living in Manjimup at the time, which is 3 hours drive south of Perth. So I went up and to see him, writing a book about Perth bands. And I said, what about, after a few months of talking to him, I said, what about I write a chapter to put at the end that talks about the scene from one person's perspective? So I wrote it. There was 60 pages. And when I gave it to him, he said, you should write a whole book. I'll put it out for you. So that's how it worked out. I rewrote it and we put it out. I really enjoyed doing that.
What was because it's been out for a few years now. I mean, what has the response been? What was that over the years to the book? Yeah.
Well, we sold out the first pressing, but we didn't sell out the second pressing.
In saying that too, I mentioned that you've done quite a bit of stuff, since Sid Rumpo. A lot of solo stuff, and I had to listen to.
Yeah, I made about 12 records.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of stuff, as I said. There's a song called Rice. I think it's off your 2002 solo album Blues. It's a unique song. Like, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it's influenced by Sonny Boy Williamson, whose original name was Rice Miller, Willie Miller, but people called him Rice Miller. So his nickname became Rice. That's why I called the song Rice. And it uses a harmonica that I've only ever heard Sonny Boy use. It's an octave lower than the normal blues harp. So I made a multi-track song with 3 tracks, 1 track with a normal harp and 2 with this bass harp. And I looped it and just spontaneously improvised form as I went along. So I really enjoy it. I just love the sound of that harp. It's so fat and so percussive.
I also liked the song off your 2009 album, The Best of the Blues. I think it's called High Five. And yeah, how did that song come to be? Like, tell me a little bit about that one as well, yeah.
Well, it's kind of near as I get to Albert King. It's sort of one of my favourite riffs, and I just looped it through and played harp on it, played some guitar in the style of Albert King, and it's good.
And all that we've kind of talked about with the blues and the music, I kind of, it gets me thinking, like, and I wanted to ask you this because, it seems like, we're living in a digital modern world, as we kind of talked about earlier, and, when the blues originated, that was such a different kind of world, and that kind of gets me thinking, like, to you as someone who's a lover of blues, plays the blues, why is blues still relevant today?
I'm not sure that it is. It's pretty much dead. It's now blues rock, which takes a lot of the intimacy out of things. Blues was very much into call and response. The singer would sing a line, the guitar would fill it, the guitar or harmonica would play a line, the singer would sing another line, there'd be another response, and then there'd be the turnaround where the same thing again, the singer would sing, and then there'd be instrumental. Blues rock just stay on the beat, don't listen to what anyone else is playing. In blues, you listen to what everyone's playing, comes out with a lot of spontaneity. But blues rock, to me, is a bit stiff. It's just guys playing loud guitars, drums loud, heavy bass, no blues feeling.
Yeah.
More rock feeling. So I think the blues is pretty much finished. There might be some people still playing blues. I don't tend to listen to new music and hear new players, but Foxtel's got a blues radio channel, and I've heard that a fair bit, and it's basically blues rock, which doesn't really appeal to me. I miss the rapport between the instruments. I think that's gone now.
And I kind of wanted to mention this just before we wrapped it up. Like, I know you've written another book. I think it came out in 2020, Immersed in Blues, A Musical Journey. Having written the book before this, I mean, about your musical journey in bands, I mean, what kind of inspired you to specifically write about your journey with the blues?
Oh, I just wanted to express my take on the blues because I've been pretty intensely involved in it since about 1964, 65. I just had a lot of my own thoughts about certain things. And I call it my take on the blues. It's my ideas, my thoughts, and also reviewed quite a lot of classic blues albums as well for people to watch out for. Talk about things like 12-bar and harmonica playing and chess records and the American folk blues revival. It covers quite a bit of ground, but the constant is the reviews, or are the reviews. Yeah, I enjoyed writing it. I don't think I'll do any more. I enjoy writing, but I don't like formatting. It's a real pain.
And saying that, I mean, what's next for you, John? Like, do you have any musical plans or any? I mean, you mentioned that you're probably not going to.
I pretty much stopped playing the electric. I just do a bit of finger picking occasionally because my original records are a lot of finger picking with lead guitar on top. So I've always liked finger picking. I learned in the 80s how to do it. So I just do it for a bit of relaxation, bit of meditation, if you like. It grounds me. I've written quite a few acoustic tunes, probably a couple of hundred, which will never get recorded.
Okay.
I've stopped recording.
So we'll never get another John Hood album?
No. You see, they're all out there now. I didn't press very many anyway, so they're all sold out. I can burn copies for people, but it's a bit of a hassle.
Yeah.
It's the artwork, all putting together the covers. I normally send people a CD and the artwork for the covers, they can do it themselves.
Maybe, I mean, not that we want to cause hassles for you, but like for any listeners that want to get one of your CDs, I mean, is that just for your website? Like, do they just contact you via email on your website, or like, what's the best way to go about it?
Yeah, well, you get to the website by searching John Hood online.
Yeah, look, I just want to thank you for your time today, John. I think we've spoken about some really, really cool things, yeah.
Oh, good. No problem.
That was John Hood, founding member of Sid Rumpo. To check out John's recent music work, you can head to his website at jhredguitar.com. Remember to share this show with other music fans, and if you really like what you heard today, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Vinyl Vibes, and to all you music lovers out there, stay groovy.